people, all sorts of new things today. Hooray, hooray, yeah. Did you have a good time last night? Yeah, what are artists in medicine? Fabulous. Yes, they're fabulous. Yay, they were kind of awesome, I have to say. So I had a great time, I have to tell you. And I debriefed, I have a twin sister, and I debriefed her on the way home last night, and she wishes she would have been there, but she wasn't. So anyway, so I hope last night helped, and I guess all of your interactions with our school so far have helped to underscore what I think is a really important point, and that point is that our students are really happy. And I know a lot of people find the term happy medical students to kind of be an oxymoron, and that may be the case at some schools, but it's not here. That's kind of the norm. When people say to me, oh, your students are so happy, I say, yeah, because that's just how we roll. So, so they are very happy. And why are they so happy? I think it's due to just a multitude of different things. They're kind of additive and symbiotic. It's definitely our curriculum, which is innovative and flexible and translational and helps you with lifelong learning, and it's a graduate school type environment, and it's really interesting. And then you couple that with our unbelievable clinical and research offerings, coupled with the collegial collaborative environment here. Certainly the faculty and the administration all look at our students not as medical students, but our junior colleagues. So, you know, we work side by side. We don't work in a hierarchical system. The school as a whole, I think, adds to the happiness factor, even the city of Cleveland. And I think one of the big things is the student body themselves, which is kind of backward reasoning. But the students they're engaged, they're excited, they're enthusiastic, they're passionate. They're just well-rounded, great people. So a lot of things come together to make this a really great place to be and to make our medical students very happy. But as I said last night, one of the big things that dictate the ethos of a school is the person at the top, the dean of the medical school. The environment, the resources, the attitude towards education, all of those things really helped to dictate what the tenor of the school is going to be. And I used the analogy last night, the captain of a ship. And our dean, Dr. Dean Davis, MD, PhD, is the most skilled captain you could ever want to have at the helm of your school. She's a phenomenal person. She's a caring and compassionate pediatric pulmonologist. She's a well-known, intrepid, famous cystic fibrosis researcher. She's also a very intuitive administrator. She's a great manager of people, and she sees talent in people and helps to bring it out. She's a great organizer. She's got a tremendous amount of vision for the school. So she's kind of the rock star of deans, I have to say. And she's really a great mentor and role model for all of us, from students up to faculty to the deans below her. She's really an inspiration for all of us. So future Case Med students, give it up for Dean Davis.
Well, I'm always delighted to come to Second Look Weekend. It's a very meaningful and interesting experience on all sides. Now is our chance to let you get a glimpse of what it would be like to matriculate and be a student here at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine. And for all of those who do come, our job is, in the next 4 years, is to train you with the knowledge and skills you'll need, but also to bring out what we know is there in you, the courage, compassion, and capability to be a great doctor. So one of my favorite scientists is Marie Curie. And she said that nothing in life is to be feared. It's only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Now this comes on several levels. In the first place, you may be a little bit scared walking into medical school. And one of the things Second Look Weekend is going to do is let you understand a little bit more about what it's going to be like, so you're not quite so apprehensive. The second thing is, you may be looking at the vast sea of information and medical knowledge that's out there and thinking, oh my Lord, how am I ever going to get my arms around that? And we're going to help you with that, and it's one of the goals of the curriculum at Case Western Reserve. So the School of Medicine has 3 main priorities, and frankly, you guys are one of them. We want to catalyze the advancement of high-quality health care by attracting and training the best students, translating research from discoveries to cures, and impacting the care and health of the community. And I'm going to show you how you are at the centerpiece, obviously, of bullet point number 1. But in addition, you can participate in bullet points number 2 and 3 in very meaningful ways. you will be coming to a place where you will learn as much from your colleagues as from your teachers. So look around you, meet the people at Second Look, meet our first-year students, meet our upperclassmen. These people are utterly spectacular. We enroll some of the nation's top students. And we talk to you about the fact that we, of course, can pick students with great academic achievement, but we also pick people with a diversity of background, a diversity of experience that bring a richness to our curriculum and come out prominently in the small groups and the discussions. When we get you here, we make you better. Now, what we do to qualify you as a doctor is we put you in what the government does, is it puts you through a series of examinations called USMLE. And step one is particularly important because that's what residencies look for to decide who are the best and the brightest. Case Western Reserve students over the last 3 years, AAMC just printed this out for us. Our group stands above well above the 75th percentile in USMLE scores. So you're pretty good when you come in, but you're really good when you're finished your preclinical segment, and you have intellectual mastery of that curriculum. I've been very proud over the last few years of the students that we turn out. So not only do they have intellectual mastery, but my clinician colleagues tell me that when our students arrive on the wards, they already think like doctors. In the course of the old curriculum, I used to be one of the folks who complained that when I got people for 4 weeks on pediatrics, I spent 3 of them teaching them to think like doctors. And then we only had 1 week for pediatrics, but you really had to learn the thought process that a doctor has in terms of collecting information, organizing it, making a hypothesis or a diagnosis, getting additional information and correcting that, and then formulating a treatment plan and changing that in the response. Our students now arrive at the ward with that process firmly in their minds. Excuse me. And our students have matched at the very best residencies in the country. This year, 1/4 of our students matched to top 10 residencies in their specialties. That's a pretty striking track record. So we've been able to do quite well with the students who've been here. I can give you some great examples of our alums. Some of you in the MSTP program met our Dean's Distinguished Lecturer yesterday, Jamie Griffo, who is probably the premier reproductive endocrinologist in the country and who devised a lot of the technologies that allow us to do egg retrieval, freezing of eggs and embryos, and implantation. In addition, Bill Clinton's heart surgeon, Craig Smith, who's now the chair of surgery at Columbia, is our alum. Julie Gerberding, who used to be head of the Centers for Disease Control and is now the president of Merck Vaccines, is our alum. Steve Altshuler, who's president and CEO of Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, is our alum. And I could go on. And we have a number of distinguished people in international health, public health, highly accomplished subspecialists, and wonderful generalists who make a difference in the world every day. You will have an opportunity to engage in our community and in our program. So this is a montage of folks, starting with the free clinic up there. We actually have a student-run interprofessional program at the free clinic of Greater Cleveland. This was devised and executed by medical and nursing students who then shanghaied professors to come and supervise them, because after all, somebody got to sign the prescriptions. And this has been an absolutely marvelous program where physicians and nurses are learning to work together and to capitalize on one another's skills. Below that is a picture of some of our medical students who organized a medical brigade to the rural community of Lemay, Peru. They recruited physician preceptors and other support staff, collaborated with multiple foundations, to create a sustainable medical effort for the people of LeMay. And there are more than 70 locations in about 30 countries around the world where students can participate in international research: South America, Europe, Africa, and Australia and Asia. So it's a pretty impressive array of international opportunities. On the top right, this picture is from our Health Professionals Pipeline Program, which is a tutoring program started in 2008 by one of the societies at the medical school. The John Hay High School of Science and Medicine is a competitive admission program in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. And this particular society, and actually, truth be told, they let students in from other societies. They're quite ecumenical. Went over there and decided to make the education of these students who are interested in science and medicine from the Cleveland Public Schools their project. Now, you probably heard that we have IQ groups, so it may not surprise you that part of the tutoring in the after-school group is in IQ groups. And, you know, we have a white coat ceremony when you enroll, and it may not come as a big shock that one of the things that happens at the end of 9th grade over there is they get a white coat. And we have 4 societies, and it may not be entirely surprising that someone's mom sewed flags for each of 4 societies at John Hay. So I think if imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, we're flattered. In the middle, on the bottom, is a medical student here named Eric Brandt. All of our students complete an MD thesis, and during his thesis research, he discovered that the current FDA guidelines allow companies to round down the amount of trans fat in food from 0.5 grams to 0. Now, since the total recommended allowance is 1.1 grams, that's pretty big rounding, right? And he pointed this out in a paper that received national attention. And that's, you know, we're proud of our medical students for going out there, getting the data, and telling the truth. In the lower right, Rick Arlo, an MD PhD student, received significant funds for an independent startup for his company that's developing a device to quickly open a patient's airway in an emergency situation. He was a paramedic before he came to medical school and was inspired during that time. So we have just remarkably accomplished individuals. Now, it's no big secret that we require a thesis here. You will have the opportunity to work with fabulous mentors. CWRU School of Medicine stands 16th in NIH research grants when you, together with the CCLCM. We received $341.7 million in 2011. That is not too shabby. I had the opportunity to add up all of the funding, not just federal funding, but state and foundation and industry and all that, in the School of Medicine and all of its affiliates, came to $570 million. Surely, in all of that, you will find a project that resonates with you. Just a couple of wonderful examples. You may have read in the newspaper about our discoveries on Alzheimer's mice. One of our graduate students, Paige Kramer, was able to retask an old drug to be given to Alzheimer's mice. And not only did the plaques and tangles in their brains go away on the histologic section, but they started to be able to think again. My favorite thing is the Kleenex test. So if you take a mouse in a cage and you put a Kleenex in the cage, the normal mouse has been taught by his mom to take something like that, rip it up and make a nest. Okay, see, like the guy over in the corner there? If you're an Alzheimer's mouse, you just walk over the Kleenex and you pee on it. If you give these Alzheimer's mice this drug that was developed for cancer, within 3 days, they're ripping up those Kleenex and making a nest. Now, I have to say it 3 times because we all have to remember, a mouse is not a man, a mouse is not a man, a mouse is not a man. But my dad died with Alzheimer's disease, and I have been following the literature. I've never seen anything like this. I have never seen anything like this. And the mechanism seems to be so logical that if it isn't true, it ought to be in people. So I think we're looking forward to the actual testing of this in human beings. Another wonderful example is a study that was published very recently in Nature on circadian rhythms linked to sudden cardiac death. You may have read that sudden cardiac death has a circadian rhythm in the early morning hours, and it shifts with daylight saving time. And it's sort of been a mystery. Well, some of our investigators found that a particular transcription factor called KLH15, which if you ask Mukesh Jain is the center of the universe, in fact is the cause of this. And I'm proud that not only are Case Western Reserve investigators engaged, but also investigators at University Hospitals Case Medical Center, Metro Health, Baylor, University of Freiburg, Brigham and Women's, Cincinnati Children's, Université de Nice, Sophia Antipolis, and Cleveland State. So this is really a multinational, multidisciplinary collaboration that you could have an edge on. For those of you who are less laboratory and more about patient-oriented, there's a wonderful group at Metro that studies the implications of the electronic health record. Published in September in the New England Journal was a paper that shows that practice groups that use the electronic health record have better outcomes and better process of care than practices that use paper records. And that's true no matter what the category of the patient, whether you're covered by Medicare, whether you're commercial, whether you're Medicaid, whether you're uninsured. All of those numbers, all of those axes are above the zero line. So there's an excess of improvement with electronic health record. Who'd have thunk it? You can make a difference in our community. Right here in Cleveland, we have significant health disparities. Just two examples there. Two neighborhoods that are, I think, 8 miles apart have 24 and change difference in life expectancy. Isn't that scary? We ought to be able to do something about that. Now, that Huff neighborhood that circled there with a life expectancy of 64 years, that's right down the street. I mean, you could walk there without breaking a sweat. So, you want to come in and figure out how to make a difference in a community. I think probably your next speaker will tell you a little bit about the medical student programs that are going to do that. Yes? So hopefully, listen a little bit, and we'd be very interested in that. We also were fortunate enough to receive a $25 million gift in 2011 to establish the Weatherhead Institute for Family Medicine and Community Health, which is going to pull all of our considerable community programs under an umbrella and allow us, I think, to be more efficient in executing our desires and plans in the community sphere. So we get great students. They interact with one another. You'll have fun. We make you better when you're here. You can participate in cutting-edge research. You can go into the community and make a difference. But you'll have a good time when you're here. And if those of you saw skits from Doc Opera, it is a fabulous show, and what I've been telling some of you this morning is what's impressive to me is when that show gets put on, there are 175 of our students that participate. It's not just 3 talented people. This is dancers, singers, instrumentalists, and they all come together. And I asked one of the directors last year, well, how do you get some of these guys to participate? They tell me they have 2 left feet. She said, doesn't matter. We teach them. Not a problem. So it's a lot of fun. I wish each of you the best as you make this important decision about where you're going to go to medical school. And I hope to see you this fall. I appreciate your coming. I appreciate your time. So now I'd like to introduce the next person to speak, Clint Snyder. He is our Interim Vice Dean for Education and Academic Affairs. He is Professor and Vice Chair of Family Medicine. He's been 15 years at CWRU, and his PhD is in medical sociology. He's a specialist in education faculty development in measurement and evaluation. And he has stepped in when our previous vice dean became a dean elsewhere, and we're a good pipeline. And we're excited to have him. And he is, in fact, the architect of the urban health pathway in the curriculum. So have a great morning, have a great day, and I'll see you in July.
Thanks, Dr. Davis. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Case Western Reserve. I feel woefully underprepared. I have no stories about mice and peeing on Kleenex, so I hope that doesn't bore you much. Actually, I have been at Case Western Reserve for 15 years, but I actually broke it up. I was here at Case Western Reserve through the 90s and through the early part of the 2000s. I took a break and went to, another medical school to be the Dean of Education and returned back last year. I guess time away makes you appreciate things that are particularly special about your school. And one of them actually is the people that you see standing in the back of the room. One of the things that I think makes Case so special is not just the curriculum, and you all know the curriculum is certainly cutting edge and state of the art or you wouldn't be here. It's not necessarily the clinical training opportunities, again, you know those, or you wouldn't be back, but it's the people. And one of the things that I've been most impressed at Case, both then and now, is that the people here are not just passionate about what they do, but they're committed to you, and they're committed to the student experience. So getting the opportunity to head academic affairs here has been a real honor, just sheerly because of the folks that I get to work with every day. Hopefully today you get a chance to know them better. One of the other things that I've really been impressed with at Case Western Reserve has been the commitment of the students outside of the classroom. As Dr. Davis said, when I returned back, one of the things that I was asked to do when I returned is to establish an urban health pathway. An opportunity for students from their first day in, throughout their experience, to have opportunities in the community, caring for the underserved. Part of the initial conversation with my predecessor was how many people we should allow into that track. And I remember at one time him saying, well, you know, this is Case Western Reserve. I don't know if students are really going to be into this. Maybe we should only have one or two of these tracks. In our class of 160, I thought, we ought to be able to get one or two, shouldn't we? So we put out the initial call. Initially, I had 22 students express interest for the 4 spots in our urban health pathway. 19 of them actually completed their application, and to the sorrow of many of our first-year students, we actually had to draw a lottery to see who had the opportunity to train caring for the urban underserved. I think that was an eye-opener for many of us here with that thought that you're here because you're research intensive, or you don't pay this kind of tuition to spend your time caring for people who are less advantaged. And that has absolutely not been the case. I've been so impressed with the commitment of our students to look outside themselves and to take care of others. One of the great things that I think you'll see in our curriculum is from your very initial days, we get you outside these walls. That it's not the idea of you're in this ivory tower. We get you into the community. Part of being an urban university and being an academic health center is surrounding us are areas of great need. And I think that Case Western Reserve has made a commitment to taking an active role in caring for those people and filling that great need way more than the other medical schools I've been at. I hope as you get to know our curriculum better, and hopefully as you become students here, that you follow up with that commitment to the community. You know, when I came here in 1991, for those of you who may not geographically be from around this area, one of the characteristics of this area is that Cleveland and Pittsburgh basically hate each other's guts. Luckily, Pittsburgh has the Steelers, so we can always feel superior. You might have guessed from that, my family actually hails from Pittsburgh. And back in 1991, actually my hiring chair is in the back of the room, Kent Smith. When Dr. Smith offered me a position here, as a faculty member, 2 thoughts raced through my head immediately. One was, hot damn, Case Western Reserve, you know, signed before he really checks up on your vita. And the second was, oh crap, Cleveland. The biggest surprise that I've had here has been Cleveland. This is really phenomenal. Regardless of what you're into, Cleveland actually offers you something. If you're into sports, although it's not a very good football team, we have the Browns, we have the Indians, basketball. If you're into museums, the museum areas directly around here are phenomenal. We actually have one of the largest entertainment districts in our downtown outside of New York City. So if you're into the theater, into arts, into music, there really is something for everyone. So even though all your friends might be saying to you, Cleveland, just smile smugly and know that you know something that they probably don't. Again, I hope you have a great day. I hope you get to know us and each other better. And please don't hesitate to contact any of us if you need more information. Thank you and welcome.